Dad will prepare corn for a community picnic. There are 3 bags of corn. Each bag holds 32 ears of corn. When the corn is cooked, they want to divide the corn equally among 8 serving plates. How many ears of corn should they put in each of 8 serving plates? Holy smokes, how many of you are like, what? Right? There was a whole lot of information there, and I see a whole lot of numbers. Should I just start multiplying and dividing? No, I really need to think about what it's asking me. So even me, reading this problem for the first time, I personally am going to go back and check it and see what in the world they want me to do, because there's a whole lot of information, a whole lot of numbers, and I want to find out what they're going to do. So what I ask myself is, what do I need to find? First of all, what is the final thing that they're looking for? I want you to find in the word problem, what is the final thing that they're looking for, and I want you to underline it. I actually do want you to pick your pencil up and underline it right now. What is the thing that they are looking for? Right, how many ears of corn should they put on each plate? So in my little helper right here, it's asking me, I need to find the number of blank that will go on each plate. What word should I put there?
Ears.
Ears, right? Or corn. Ears of corn. Let's put ears of corn. Go ahead and write it.
Let's write it.
That's what I just said. Okay. The next question says, what information do I need to use? So I'm going to look back into my word problem and decide what information from this word problem am I going to be using to solve this problem. So go ahead and look for it, and you can circle, underline, whatever's going to help you notice what information. It says blank bags with blank ears in each bag. So see what you're looking for, circle it, underline it, whatever you need to do. Go ahead. 3 bags, and there's 32 ears of corn in each bag. Okay? So the total ears are divided into how many groups? Once I find out the total amount of ears, how many groups am I going to divide them into?
8.
8 groups, right? Because we have how many serving plates?
8.
So once I find the answer to this, I'm going to divide that into 8 plates, 8 groups. Okay? And then it says, how am I going to use this information? I will make a bar model. This person's decided to use a bar model to solve their problem, to visualize the information. So first we're going to start with 3 bags. I need your pencils down and that's okay. 3 bags with 32 ears in each bag. So here's our bar model, and each one of these boxes represents what? In this word problem, it represents a... I heard it over here. Luna, what did you say? A bag. Each one of these represents a bag. Okay? So each one of these 3 boxes represents a bag, and each bag has 32 ears of corn. And so we're going to be doing what kind of problem to, what kind of function to find out what the answer is, the total. All right, what function are we going to use?
Division.
Division, are you sure? We have, okay, let's go back. Okay, we have 32 in this bag, we have 32 in this bag, and we have 32 in this bag. So think again, what function am I going to be using to figure out how much I have total? What do you think, Riley? We're going to multiply those numbers. That will give us the total. So we have the number 32 times 3. And we have 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, so that total is 96. Okay. Now we have the number 96. And remember, we were going to take the total and divide it into 8 groups. This, we didn't finish this week. Then I will multiply, right, to find out the total. And then what am I going to do to find out how much goes on each plate. So now I have the numbers 96, and I need to put them in. Here's the 96 right here. I need to put them into how many plates? 8 plates. Do you see the boxes here? How many boxes are? Count them. Don't assume. Count them real quick. Raise your hand when you have it. How many boxes are there?
8.
Oh, so each box represents what?
8.
Not a corn.
A
A plate. Very good. So each one of those boxes represents a plate. There is 96 ears of corn total. How many are going to go on the plate? What function am I going to use to figure out how to put 96 pieces of corn on 8 plates? I want you guys to think about it before you raise your hand. What math function am I going to do? Okay, so what did you guys decide? That wasn't my question. What do we? That's on the tape. You know that, right? What function am I going to use? Division. So I'm going to divide 96 divided by how much? 8. How many times does 8 go into 9?
1.
We're going to stop fooling around. I subtract. I get 1. I bring down my 6. Now I'm going to decide how many times does 8 go into 16? 2. 2 times 8 is 16. Do I have a remainder?
No.
No, I do not. So I have my quotient is what? 12. What is going to go on each of these blue lines? 12. Each one of these boxes represents what? Okay, I need everybody thinking about it and listening. Wait. Each one of these boxes represents what? Plates. And the 12 represents? Corn. How many corn are going on each plate?
12.
Okay. So this was divide. I hear someone singing. That needs to stop. Okay. Real quick, go ahead and copy down the numbers that we did here. And then we'll answer the 1 and 2 at the bottom in a minute. But you can start thinking about it if you get it copied down real quick. How many ears of corn are going to go on each plate? 12. We already asked that question, haven't we? How can you check your work to make sure that you got the right answer? Any ideas? Sophia, what do you think?
You could multiply 12 times 8.
And see if it gave us
86.
96. I'm going to put a question mark because that's what we need to do. We need to find out, does 12 times 8 equal 96? Okay? And that's how you check your work on division problems. There are 8 dinner rolls in a package. How many packages will be needed to feed 64 people if each person has 2 dinner rolls? So there are 2 different ways you can figure this out, but let's start with, what do I need to find out? What is the question asking me to find out? Find it under word problem, underline it, and then raise your hand. Okay, so let's go with just part of it and say how many packages will be needed. How many packages will be needed, right? Because that's ultimately what we're going to find out. How many packages? Go ahead and write it. How many packages of rolls are needed? What information from the word problem is going to be important? There's a few things. What's one of the things that we need?
There are 8 dinner rolls in a package.
So 8 rolls per package. Go ahead and write it. $64 people, right? And there's one more piece of information that's very important. Sophia.
2 dinner rolls.
2 rolls per person, right? Do I just multiply all these numbers now?
No.
How am I going to use these numbers? We're going to do the math problems with it. So what's the first thing I should do? Each package has 8 rolls in it. I know I'm trying to find out how many packages I need to buy. I know that there's 64 people, and I know that each person gets 2 rolls. What would be the first step you would do? You can actually go in 2 different directions for this. So there's going to be more than one right answer. What's the first one you want to do, Ethan?
I would do 8 times 2.
8 times 2? And what's that going to give you? How many rolls are what?
So we do that and see how we could divide from people.
Okay, so you keep saying it, and I'm not sure what you mean. So if you have 8 rolls per package and 2 rolls per person, you're going to divide 8 and 2? Okay, so if you do 8 divided by 2, that's going to tell you. Okay, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just need you to talk louder so I can hear you.
Once you get your answer, you divide it from the people.
Okay, so if we do 8 divided by 2, and what's that answer, by the way? 4, right? So what does that 4 tell me? Say something. I want you to think if you can put it in words. Does anybody want to help them? Because this works. But you need to understand why it works. Do you know why it works, Lydia? You're not going to get that right now. Does anybody know why this works? Sean, why does this work? Or tell me what the 4 is going to tell me. You know why, Brian?
It's you can divide them into 2.
Okay, so let's go back. This is how many rolls per person, correct? Yes. This is how many rolls are in each package. If I find out that I have 4, I did 8 divided by 4, I want you to pay attention. The 4 tells me how many people I can feed per package. You guys seeing that? If here's my package of rolls, right? I'm trying to make this even. So this is half, so you guys know what I'm doing, right? That package of rolls that you twist it and you pull off and you pull out the little biscuits. Yeah? Okay, so it looks kind of like that when it's all put together. Sit down and pay attention. We're not worrying about erasers right now. Okay, so if this is my package of 8 rolls, and that's for one person, right? Because 1, 2, they get 2 rolls per person. One person, another person, another person. How many people did I feed per roll per package?
3.
No, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the method that Ethan does, he's figuring out how many people per package can I feed. And I can feed how many people per package? 4. So then if I take 64 and I divide it by, I know I can get 4 people per package, this is going to give me my answer. 64. This is not the method I would choose, but it works. That's why I wanted to follow through, because this is the one that Ethan gave us. And if I do 64 divided by 4, I would have 1, subtract 24. What is 24 divided by 4? 6. 6 times 4 is 24. And if subtract, what is my quotient? 16. So I'm going to put that up here and see later if that matches the answer that we get. Okay. I don't want you copying this down. So those of you whose pencils are going need to stop. Okay, so this was one method. This is not the one I would choose, though, because it is a little more tricky to think about it that way. But it works. I would think, first of all, how many rolls do I want? Right? How many total rolls do I want? Who can tell me how I'm going to figure out how many total rolls do I need? Total rolls. Which numbers am I going to use and what am I going to do with them? I know I have 64 people. I know two rolls per person. So what am I going to do to figure out how many rolls total I need? So let me say it one more time because I'm giving you the answer. 64 people, 2 rolls per person. I'm going to do what, class? Start with a bigger number.
64 times 2.
Times 2. I mean, think about what it's asking you. If you have 64 people in a classroom and each person needs to get 2, can you divide?
No.
No, each person needs 2 whole rolls. You're going to need to do 64 one time and 64 again. How many times was that? 2. 64 times 2. Okay, so first of all, you need to find out how many total rolls you need. So we're going to do 64 times 2. We get 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 6 is what, class?
12.
12. I need 100% participation in the class. 128 what? Rolls. That's how many we need total. I'm going to make sure you guys know how to do this because someday when you're older, I plan to come to your dinner parties and I want to make sure I have enough food. So, 128 rolls total. So if I have 128 rolls total, I can get 8 rolls per package. I'm going to do this. Right? And I'm going to have some boxes here. I can divide this into 8 groups this way. Then what am I doing? What math function am I going to do to figure out what goes in each one of those boxes? 8M. I'm going to divide. What numbers am I going to divide? 128 divided by 2. Okay, almost stop here for a second. Think about the question. You guys are guessing and then you're waiting for me to say yes or no. If I have, here, let me do it here. If I need 128 rolls, here's package 1. How many are in there? 8 rolls. Okay. Now I have 2 packages. How many total rolls do I have now?
16.
And then I have, and then I have,
32. 40.
what am I doing here? I'm going up by 8. This is another form of, if I skip counting, and I want to get to 128. What number am I going to divide by? I was skip counting by,
8.
so I'm going to divide by
8.
Okay. I need to find out if I have 128 rolls and I need that to, there's 8 rolls in each package, I need to find out how many packages I need. 12, how many times does 8 go into 1?
0.
How many times does 8 go into 12?
1.
I put the 1 over the 2, remember, because that's where I first got, I first had a chance. So, 12 divided by 8 was 1. 1 times 8 is?
8.
I subtract, I get, and I bring down the,
8.
and now I have 48 ones, and I divide that by 8, and I get
6.
6 times 8 is
48.
48. I subtract, do I have any remainder?
0.
What was my quotient?
16.
Look at the answer, we did it when we did Ethan's method. When we went the same direction, remember I told you that it doesn't matter which direction you go, you could do one or the other first. You just have to understand what you're asking yourself, what they're asking you. And it's very logical. So if you think about it and you try to figure out what it's doing, it's not about knowing, oh, I should divide here, I should multiply here. It's about what is the question asking me? And how can I find that answer? Not, oh, here's the formula, I should multiply and then subtract, or multiply and then divide. I mean, there's no formula. You have to figure out what it's asking you. All right, the question at the bottom says, how many packages of rolls will be needed? How many packages are needed?
No. 16.
How many, class?
16.
16. I'm going to go ahead and erase this so we can write it in.